The accusation of state independence in 1991 in the Republic of Kazakhstan was marked by the beginning of the transformation process of the former USSR, and the expansion of the possibility of the return of certain ethnic groups to their historic homeland in Kazakhstan. As in many other CIS countries, there was a tendency for the negative balance of migration to grow. So, from 1991 to 2001, the negative migration balance not only completely absorbed the natural population growth, but also exceeded it by more than 2 times, since the natural population growth in the 90s decreased almost 2 times due to sharp decrease in the number of births and an increase in the number of deaths in relation to the 80s. The most intense migration process took place in the first 3 years after the collapse of the former Soviet Union. During the period from 1992 to 1994, 1,125,000 people left the country, and 70% of them went to the CIS countries. Over the years, only 343,000 people are in Kazakhstan, and 90% of them from the CIS countries. Since 1995, a trend towards a decrease in the number of migrants leaving the country began in Kazakhstan, and as a consequence, a decrease in the negative balance of migration. Thus, the number of immigrants in 1999 decreased by 3 times compared to the 1994, and the negative balance of migration more than 3 times. Migration processes in Kazakhstan during the collapse of the USSR were associated with a whole range of reasons. The dominant one is the combination of socio-economic and political factors that determine the standard of living of the population.
The main migration flows were formed between Kazakhstan and neighboring countries. The share of those emigrating to the CIS countries in 1996 was 155,000 people, of which 138,000 left for Russia, in Uzbekistan 5,800, in Ukraine 4,800, in Kyrgyzstan and Belarus 2,600 and 2,100 people. The main migration outflow from Kazakhstan was mainly directed to the CIS countries, of which most of the immigrants left to the Russian Federation. The largest number of immigrants left Kazakhstan in 1994. So, in 1994, 344,000 people left for the Russian Federation, which is about 70% of all those who left the country this year. For the entire period, this figure of immigrants to the Russian Federation is more than 2 million people. On June 26, 1992, the Immigration Act was passed. With the proclamation of independence, the government announced the readiness of the state to accept Kazakhs from the near and far abroad, wishing to return to their historical homeland. On December 13, 1997, the law on immigration of the population was adopted. On August 17, 2000, by a government decree, the concept of the state demographic and migration policy of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Government decisions provide for the provision of housing, measures aimed at all possible assistance to the settlement of Oralmans, their adaptation in places of settlement and integration into the local social environment.
According to official data, more than 310,000 people have left Kazakhstan over the past 10 years. During the same time, about 237,000 people came to the country. Kazakhstan again went into a negative trend where the country loses more citizens than it gains. Mostly residents of the north and the center of country leave Kazakhstan, where there is a more Slavic population, significantly less in the west and the south. For example, only 575 people have immigrated from Kizlyarda region in 10 years. But positive balance of immigration remains in only few regions of the whole country, Almaty, Mangistau and Atyral regions, where Oralman who come to the country more often settle in these regions. In the last 10 years, the country has been mostly left by people of working age. Over 70% of those who left. There has been a change in the level of education of those who living. 10 years ago, there were more immigrants among those who have secondary specialized or technical education. Now, people with higher education are on the first line. In the end, I would like to say that there are fewer immigrants. In the last 5 years, the figure has fluctuated at the level of 15,000 people per year. This is significantly less than it was 10 years ago, when 50,000 people arrived in the Kazakhstan per year. The flow of immigrants from some countries, for example Turkmenistan, Mongolia or Kyrgyzstan, has almost dried up. From Asia, others, Russia, Uzbekistan, has significantly decreased. A stable flow of Oromans remains only in the case of China, where Kazakh diaspora in the country still exists 1 million people. The flow of immigrants from a neighboring country may grow in the near future.